Hey guys, PretzelMan945 here. Welcome back to another tier list video. I'm using the same recording style as I did in my last video. So this is something I thought would be kind of fun, and I realize I haven't made one of these yet. It is an MCU tier list. I was originally going to make a ranking of this, but then I thought it would be perfect for a tier list video. So I'm on tiermaker.com right now. And so we're just going to go and order these movies. Yes, this tier list is ordered. So I've never seen the Hulk. I'm just going to put it in F tier because everyone else seems to hate it. So Guardians 2, that is a B tier movie in my opinion. I think it's really funny. And it has, and I like Ego as a villain and like the whole Yondu stuff. I thought that was really cool. But for me, it's just not as good as the first Guardians, just as my opinion. Also in B tier, we've got Ant-Man. So, I think that Ant-Man is a solid movie. I think it's got its funny moments. You know, it's pretty simple. And it's kind of just like one of those simple movies after Age of Ultron, which I also think is a B tier movie. If it won't be finicky, there we go. I think that it's above Guardians 2. It also has its funny moments. I think personally that Ultron is an extremely good villain, and he's super fun to watch. Avengers are first S tier. This movie was like the ultimate first team-up movie. The team dialogue works amazing. Loki is a great villain. And the team-up dynamics really, really work. You know, the final act is awesome. It's just a great movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp, that is our next B tier. I think that it's not quite as good as Ant-Man, but it's still got its charm. I think Black Panther is an A tier. I think this movie is really, really cool. I think it's got an interesting plot. I love all the black cast, and Killmonger is one of the best MCU villains. So, you know, I gotta put it there. Captain America, the First Avenger, for me, is a B tier movie. I really like the wartime setting of it in the character development of Captain America. However, I don't like how they just rush through World War One, or not World War One, World War Two. But I think that Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull is kind of cool. You know, for like one of the starter films, it's not bad. It's just not my favorite of the Captain America movies. Oh, wow. Civil War. I gotta do it. Civil War is... Come on, there we go. Civil War is too good not to be S tier, in my opinion. So, for me, Civil War is like... It's like Avengers 2.5 and a Captain America movie meshed together, and it's like the perfect mix of a movie. Like, I know people say like, oh, it's just Avengers 2.5. Like, I agree with that, but I also think in a way it's also its own Captain America movie, so I think that that's a really nice mesh. Also, I love how it says like rank your favorite MC movies or something. That's funny. Anyway, so, yeah, it's just an incredible movie. Like, it's got great action. It's got so much character development. The final act is super tense. Like, it's just a fantastic movie. It's too good not to be an A tier. Captain Marvel, I like this movie, honestly. I know it gets some negative feedback and it gets some hate and whatnot, but I think that this movie is good. To be honest, I thought it had an intriguing plot. I thought the scrolls were kind of interesting, but like Jan Rog is not a very like particularly captivating villain, and like the plot doesn't flow together that well. And like just thinking about that now, actually, I'm gonna put it in C tier. Um, but the best thing about this movie is definitely the Flerken, for sure. Um, Thor: The Dark World is going to be our next C tier. I know everybody will put this movie in like D or F. I don't hate this movie outright. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? Also, no. I think, but I do think it's like definitely very very mediocre. Like I like the like Malekith is a very very forgettable villain. He doesn't really have any real motivations, and uh it is, yeah, it's just not a great movie. Like the plot is a jumbled mess, and like the acting's not the best, but like I also don't hate it, which is why it's in C tier. Doctor Strange, for me, yeah, it's Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange in A tier. I think that personally, like before either Infinity War or Endgame came out, I thought that this movie, and I still think it probably has some of the best visuals before Infinity War or Endgame. I thought that this movie had the best special effects in the entire MCU. Like no other movie compared to the visuals of this movie. Um, I also really like the plot. I think Doctor Strange is a super cool hero. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job playing the character. You know, Wong's kind of funny. Um, I liked Mordo as a character. I thought he was kind of interesting. The Ancient One was also kind of cool. Um, Endgame, uh, I mean, just S tier. Like, I don't need to say a single flipping thing else. Okay, so this is probably going to be like, um, my only super controversial pick on this list, but I am putting Thor Ragnarok in C tier. And that is because it's not that I don't think I think Taika Waititi did a great job directing this movie, and I do think it has its hilarious moments. And you know, I think that the way that Thor is developed in this movie is also super cool. But at the same time, like the whole stint about like whatever it's called, the Grandmaster and his games, like I've never liked any of that part of it. And like you generally just skip that middle section of the movie for just like the start and the end. The first and third acts are basically the cool parts, but the second act is really just kind of like very very mediocre compared to the rest of the movie, which is why I'm putting it in C tier. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's an A tier movie. I love this movie. This movie is so funny. I rewatched this like maybe a couple weeks, a month ago. I laughed so hard at this movie. This movie is one of the funniest movies in the MCU. And actually, I'll probably put it here. In the A tier. I think that Guardians of the Galaxy, like the team up, is so great, and just it's so funny, and the music is also really good. It's just great. Um, Iron Man 3, I'm gonna put at the top of B tier, but not quite A tier. I think that this movie has some really good things for it, even though it's never really touched on again. I love like Tony's PTSD and the stuff with Harley, and I love that. I love like the arc that he goes on in this movie. About the Mandarin twist, like I don't hate it. It just confuses me a little bit. I don't really understand like the direction that they were going with it, but like I don't outright hate the decision. Um Iron Man 2, like if this were me like a year ago, this would have been an immediate F tier. But for those of you who have seen my final reckoning video about it, I'm not going to go too much into this, but basically, my opinions have changed a, somewhat on this. I still think that the movie has like terrible villains and is trying to accomplish way too many plot lines, and as a result just end up being an incredibly weak movie. If you want to know like my full like renewed thoughts, then watch the Final Reckoning episode 1, which is Iron Man 2. uh the original Iron Man, that is an A tier below Black Panther. I think that this movie was really really cool because it was the first Marvel movie. You know, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing as Iron Man and is incredible throughout the entire MCU. Like you can't imagine Iron Man without imagining Robert Downey Jr. at this point. Like that's just what culture is. Um, and Obadiah Stane is a okay villain. Like he looks cool in the third act. He carries the movie along. It's got a fun plot and whatnot. And yeah, it's just a good movie in my opinion. Just a classic good movie. And so here we get to the other easiest S tier of this video, and that is Avengers: Infinity War. For those who do not know or have not seen my tier list of the not my tier list, my list of my favorite movies, you will know that for those who haven't seen it, Avengers: Infinity War is my absolute favorite movie of all time. I go into so much depth as to why in that video. I think it's part 3 because it was a 3-part video for that. It was top 20 favorite movies. So if you're interested in that, then go check out that video. Spider-Man: Far From Home. See, I'm gonna put this above and Spider-Man: Homecoming beside that. Beside it, I think that these are both incredible movies. For Far From Home first, I think that Spider-Man is. I think this movie is really cool. I think Mysterio is an excellent villain in this movie. So yeah, it's all this movie. It was very enjoyable to watch when I saw it in the theaters. Back when we could still see movies in the theater, but now we can. So yay! And then Homecoming is also a very good movie. Like I love the high school-esque setting. It's very unique, and I think it was tackled very well. And like the twist about like the Vulture, who is an amazing villain in this movie, like being the father of his like person he has to dance. It's great. I just think I like Far From Home slightly more than Homecoming, but both are great movies. The original Thor. Funnily enough, I think all 3 of the Thor movies are C tier. I think this movie has some good stuff, but like once it gets to Earth, it just becomes like misplaced, and like the romance between like Jane Foster and Thor is just like completely uncalled for. It doesn't really make much sense. Eric Selvig is kind of cool. I really don't like Darcy in this movie. I don't like Darcy in anything but WandaVision. She kind of redeemed herself a little bit in WandaVision. If you want to know my thoughts on that, go watch my WandaVision review. I'm plugging all my videos in this video. And then we get to Winter Soldier, and This movie, also for those who don't know, this is number 8 on my favorite movies list. Like, I love this movie so much. This movie gets better every time I watch it in some way. Can't always pinpoint what way, but it always gets better in some like tiny detail every time I watch this movie. Um, yeah, it's like it's a great movie, honestly. Like the spy aspects of it, like it, and like the characters of it too. It's just like it's so good. Like I can't really describe it without just go for these movies, kind of go watch my video on my favorite movies list. I think that's also where I go a lot more in depth about like these various movies, for example. Um, but that was my MCU movies tier list. I think because I didn't show my face, it actually does have comments. So let me know what you think in the comments if there are comments on this video. Bye.